because running is difficult. Running is a hard sport. There's nothing about it that's easy. Even though I got injured, even though I didn't have the cross-country season I wanted, it's been a great experience. Whenever you're just like comparing what you're doing to what they're doing, you're just gonna dig yourself in a deep hole. The burnout is a difficult topic in running because one of the things that stuck with me the most is the value of consistency. It makes the success so much sweeter, and that is what's so great about the sport. Once we're not impressed by the size of our challenges, once we look at our challenges and they seem attainable, that's whenever we're gonna be able to go after them. There's been times where I've wanted to quit running, where I was like, no, I can't do this anymore. The off-season is the most vital component of your training. I'm looking at the challenge that's in front of me and saying, all right, let's do this. We're doing a Q&A today. I have a few questions, had some people respond on Instagram, some people respond on YouTube, and I'm just gonna go through and answer some of the questions that I liked. And if you have any more questions, just drop them down in the comments below and I'll get to those and I'll try to respond as best I can. So let's start with question number 1, which comes from Will on Instagram, and he asked, why did you choose Mississippi College? And so the reason I chose Mississippi College is because there was a good coach, there was somebody who believed in me there was a good team, I really liked the people there, I liked the atmosphere, I liked everything it had to offer, and it was really good academically because most people aren't gonna be competitively running and able to make a living out of it. You have to look at some place you can go that's going to be academically good. It was the only visit I went on where I really felt like I was family. It was just ultimately that place where I was like, nah, this feels right, this feels like I'm at home. And so that was one of the main reasons I chose Mississippi College. So the running effect, Dominic, the man himself, he asked me, what's a mistake you've made that looking back you wouldn't change because of what it taught you? One of the biggest mistakes I always make is comparing myself to others and comparing where I am in my journey to where somebody else is in their journey. You can't constantly compare your efforts and what you're doing right now to what other people are doing. Because if you did that, then all that this would be was a big game of comparison. All you're really trying to do is to become the best version of yourself. Now you can be inspired by other people. You can be inspired by those who are achieving great things. But whenever you're just like comparing what you're doing to what they're doing, you're just gonna dig yourself in a deep hole. And that was one of the things that I feel like I still struggle with. I used to do it a lot, but I'm learning not to do it as much. I don't think I would change that because it's a learning process of figuring out how to do this whole running thing, but it taught me a lot. Dominic also says, if you could relive one year of your life, which year would it be? And I'm very much a man of like the present. I like to be in the present moment, and there's definitely been some great years, but this year's been good. It's been a fun experience. Even though I got injured, even though I didn't have the cross-country season I wanted, it's been a great experience. I've met some really good people, I've learned a lot, I've experienced some great things, and that's all you can really ask for in a year. And I've also kind of built up this YouTube channel, and it's been fun to see that grow. And
subscribe to Brock Kelly.
We'll go on to the next one. So Jonah on YouTube asked how to deal with burnout as a runner. I've been running for like 9 or 10 years or something like that. And so I've never really experienced burnout. I've experienced what I feel like other people would consider burnout, but I just don't view it that way. There's been times where I've wanted to quit running, where I was like, no, I can't do this anymore. This is hard. And I guess that is burnout. But persevering through those moments where it's hard is the most important thing you can do as a runner. Like, because whenever things get hard, whenever running gets difficult, whenever things aren't going your way, and you still continue to push forward, and you still continue to be consistent in your training, you still continue to go after whatever that goal is you have in your mind in the long term, that is the most important thing you can do. It's so rewarding whenever you push through all the garbage and you push through the moments that are hard. It makes the success so much sweeter, and that is what's so great about the sport. Because running is difficult. Running is a hard sport. There's nothing about it that's easy, but it's sometimes fun, and it's sometimes enjoyable, and it sometimes has those great moments that are spent with your teammates, that are spent with your friends, that are those moments of success after you've won something, after you've worked really hard to gain something. Those are the moments that make it worth it. If you completely just quit because you feel like you're burnt out, then that's just not what the sport is really about. And maybe the sport's not meant for you and you're not meant for the sport, but that's my kind of personal perspective on that. If you are dealing with burnout as a runner, you could just take a couple weeks off. Maybe you just need a mental reset and then just start building back consistency. And what you'll see is that you're gonna progress over a longer period of time, and that is gonna be one of the most rewarding things you ever do. So this next question comes from my friend Noah on Instagram, and he says, best words of wisdom and memorable moments that stuck with you over your running journey. One of the things that stuck with me the most is the value of consistency in training, in what you're doing, and creating a regimen so that you can continue to be the most durable and strong athlete you can be, because you don't want to constantly change up your training regimen. You don't want to constantly change anything really. You want to be steady, and you want to have a level of consistency that's going to lead to big results in the future. Consistency has just been a theme in my entire running career and my entire running journey ever since I was in 7th grade, because I realized, oh, if I train a certain way, then I'll have results at the end. And if I train consistently, I'll have even better results at the end. And that's just something I learned kind of early on, and throughout the years it's been like, oh, well, if I just train consistently, if I put in more work than what somebody else is doing and I do it in a smarter way and I do it in a consistent way, then that's what's going to yield results in the long term. All right, want to take a quick break and update you on Over Everything Athletics Club. OE Athletics Club is the idea of intentionality in sports. It is built off of this channel. It is built off of intentions over everything. I'm working on crafting some new products that are going to be coming out in the winter. I've been working on these for a few months, and I've been working on the direction of the brand, and I think it's going to be huge this year. If you want to follow along with that, just go to oeathleticsclub.com or follow us on Instagram at OE Athletics Club. If you're already following us, then subscribe to the newsletter. We got some new stuff that's going to be dropping soon, and if you want to be latest and updated on that, go subscribe to the newsletter. Let's get back to the video. Somebody else on YouTube asked, what's the best advice you've ever gotten in running and how did you use it? So I actually pulled up Ryan Hall's book right here because there's something he says in here that I've believed for most of my life, and him putting it into words really solidifies what my thoughts are on it. And he says, once we cease to be impressed by the size of our challenges, our ability to overcome them grows exponentially. That right there is what I believe about life. Once we're not impressed by the size of our challenges, once we look at our challenges and they seem attainable, that's whenever we're gonna be able to go after them. Whenever we think of it as some big monumental feat of, I'm never gonna get that, like that's for other people, that's reserved for somebody else, that's not reserved for me. That's whenever we dig ourselves in a hole. Whenever we set those big goals and we aren't impressed by the challenges that are in front of us, and we realize, like even me right now with my stress fracture, I'm not looking at the challenges in front of me and thinking, this is gonna be a mountain that I'm never gonna be able to climb. I'm looking at the challenges in front of me and saying, all right, let's do this. Same thing with anything in life. Whenever you aren't impressed by something, whenever you start to break down what it takes to get to someplace, and you just realize, oh, it's just one step, one foot in front of the other, consistency over time, then it's like, oh, well, this makes a lot more sense. This is actually attainable. Somebody else on YouTube asked, what in your training gives you confidence in the short term and in the long term? I would say if you're trying to build short-term confidence, then what's gonna end up happening is your short-term confidence is most likely gonna also come from your long-term confidence and your long-term goals and your long-term efforts. If you consistently been running over a 3-month period, and you have a good workout day, or you have a good long run, or you have a good recovery day where it just feels super easy and you're just flying, those are gonna be the short-term things that build confidence. In the long term, I would say the things that build confidence are being able to race well, learning how to race well, experimenting through trial and effort, and finally being able to achieve something. You mess up and you mess up and you mess up over a long period of time, and then finally you figure out, oh wait, this is what I need to be doing. So the next question comes from Adam Woods, and he asked how I got into posting content and any advice for people who want to start making their own content. And so I actually got into posting content whenever I started watching Ryan Trahan and Zach Levitt back in 11th grade. And I remember seeing their videos, and I was just inspired by the idea of creating videos on YouTube. So I brought a camera to a track meet, I started recording stuff, I put together a video on a crappy editing software on my Toshiba computer, and it was the worst video ever and nobody watched it, and it didn't matter because I enjoyed the process of creating videos, and it was very three-dimensional, and I'd been doing photography for a long time, which kind of felt very two-dimensional. Even though photography has its complexities, this idea of creating videos just seemed way more complex, and I really enjoyed it and I was drawn to it, and I saw how I could be artistic in creating videos and learning softwares and learning how to ultimately create and tell stories. There's a whole story I could tell about my creative journey throughout this whole thing, but there's been a few different things that I've done that have really helped me. I got a job at a summer camp as their main videographer and just got the ability to put in my 10,000 hours. Just put in enough hours to where I learned how to make videos and learn how to develop my own style. And I would recommend that to anyone. Just get a job at a summer camp as their videographer and just start learning how to make videos and edit videos fast, and learn how to create your own style and learn how to be unique in what you're doing. And any advice for people who want to start making content, literally just start making content and have a value proposition. And whenever you add value to people's lives, people are gonna want to watch your videos. Adding more time for the videos to be slow and have little bits of, here's some information I learned, here's something I like to do in my day-to-day life. Start making content that other people are gonna wanna watch and that other people can take away something from. Grab your phone, start recording, and add value. So I'm gonna answer one more question. It's about the off-season. Ask what the off-season looks like. The off-season is the most vital component of your training. You can build base fitness, you can build so much confidence, you can come back and race better than you've ever raced in your entire life. I've built a lot of my success on just building up some consistent mileage and doing some workouts throughout the off season and just trying to get as strong as I possibly can. I usually like to lift weights, I usually like to run high mileage, and I usually like to do a couple workouts a week. That's mainly what my off season looks like. Well, thank you so much for watching. If you've made it this far, go comment over everything down below. And I have a limited amount of stickers I'm gonna send out some people who watch this far. So go drop a comment, like, subscribe, do all the things, turn on the post notification bells. You guys are freaking awesome. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.